Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah! We got it! We got it!
52 book.
Somebody clip this for the woman.
Ready?
Yeah.
You look ready.
Welcome to Comics League Movie Night. I am Jared. I'm here with Nick from the Phoenix Press. What's up, brother?
You betray the law!
I am the law.
There you go. We're talking
How
about...
do you bleed?
Yeah, we're talking about Dredd. Not the bad Sylvester Stallone one. The good 2012 version. Because, oh my gosh, is this movie great? And I'm going to start off with this. People that made the Halo show, this is a character that's known for wearing a helmet all the time. They made a movie where he keeps his damn helmet on the whole time. Look at how it turned out.
Yeah?
It's there. But, and this is also one of the movies I saw in theaters back in 2012, I believe is when this movie came out. And I
You
dug
lucky
it.
son of a biscuit.
Yeah, I know. So, Nick, tell me about why you picked Judge Dredd and all that, besides the fact that, by the way, this is a comic book movie, so it counts.
Yeah, so the reason it's a comic movie is it's based off of the series 2000 AD, with, the comic character Judge Dredd. A character who's a lot older than people realize. And he's actually a British character, and he's kind of meant to be a commentary on like a police state and fascism. We're literally, if you look at some of the comic panels, he has a very distinctive SS in his eyes. If you get what I mean. And yeah, he's a great character. He stood the test of time. They made a movie in the 90s. I think a lot of people are familiar with.
The interesting thing about this character, the thing about it is like, and Tevia, I think the reason why this movie bombed is because this was early in comic book movies being mainstream. Because remember, this was the same time as Avengers came out, so it's still like, what is this? It doesn't really feel like a comic book movie, so people didn't know that. Plus, it's a very niche property. At least I would say so. Right now,
I would say it's niche would definitely be the word. And the problem the Stallone movie had is definitely, like we said, the Halo. He takes off his helmet.
Yeah, and they said they tried to, and I've heard people say they tried to humanize Dredd in that movie, which is again one of the problems with Halo. They tried to humanize the Master Chief, and I'm like, in this movie, this is why the 2012 movie is awesome. It's just Dredd going through a building, blowing away criminals. That's what Dredd is.
Like, I would argue the Stallone movie has some merits, but it is more of a Stallone movie than it is a Judge Dredd movie.
It's like, what if Rambo was Judge Dredd? That's pretty much what it is.
Not quite, but yeah.
Dave says, in the comics and film crossover in 2000 AD, and Karl Urban and comics Judge Dredd are shocked that Sylvester Stallone takes off his helmet. You're not one of us. But yeah, exactly. But yeah, I still say the movie's great, and I like how, first off, they didn't shy away from making this the mature movie that it needed to be, because so many movies like go away from that. Like, I've always said that as much as I love the first Venom movie, or like maybe the second one, they would have been so much better if they were R-rated movies.
Yeah, I think like Venom, definitely the first one they did the best they could with the rating. But this one, you certainly feel it, and also like this was a really low budget movie, but you cannot tell Like, you cannot tell.
No.
They use their budget very well, because it's actually very, very small scale. Karl Urban plays the character like to perfection. I think we can say.
Yep.
Olivia Thornberry, she's so easy on the eyes.
Well, yeah, I like that scene where she doesn't have her helmet on because she's like, it interferes with my psychic powers. He goes, so will a bullet to the head.
Yeah, my favorite scene is, sir, he's thinking about going for your gun. Sir, he's not thinking about going for your gun. and then Judge Dredd just grimace like, yeah, I don't need, like, you could just tell, like, this is how good Karl Urban is. Just his grimace, you could tell he was thinking like, yeah, I don't need to be psychic to know that.
Yeah, and I like how I like how matter of fact he is in this movie, and he's like, it's like basically he like he like fights criminals and they try to intimidate him. He goes, noted, boom.
Defense note. Yeah, and can we just talk about the villain? Like, Lena Headey is way too good of an actress for people who don't give enough credit.
What you don't know is that what happened in 300 is that she went to a time portal and ended up in the Judge Dredd universe.
No. If you're gonna do this, you gotta do it right. What happened is she went from a time portal, and somehow she did a quantum leap, and she went from being the Queen of Sparta to the Queen of Westeros, and she spent 15 years as the Queen of Westeros, and then she read the script for season 8 of Game of Thrones, jumped off the red keep, and when she woke up, she was Mama, and all her memory was erased.
And then Billy Butcher throws her off the roof of the building. There you go. Oh, I love that where he goes, how do you plead? He tossed her out the window, defense noted. The one, I will also say this, the other part that really gets me, I didn't know it was a low budget movie because in the slow-mo scenes where like he breaches the door and you see like the reverberations like hit the guy's stomach, I'm like, that looks amazing.
But also, like, do you realize how like when he threw her out the window, he injected her with slow-mo?
Yeah.
So that fall, like, it was probably like a 10-second fall, probably lasted hours to her.
And it was kind of funny, as she goes down, you could see essentially like the whole movie, like there's all the white phosphorus, the minigun parts. And I'm like, well, first off, so they gave him white phosphorus as ammunition. And I'm like, oh God, that's a war crime right there. Because for those that don't know, what white phosphorus does, it's an incendiary round, but it never stops burning. That's why it's a war crime. Like, you become ash eventually with white phosphorus. And I also like where he like, he goes, easy, hot shot. What? I said, hot shot. Boosh. And it just burns the dude's face from the inside. I'm like, oh, this is so good.
My other part is like, wait. The biggest Judge Dredd, blah, 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 like, why are you waiting for her to sneak up on you?
What's kind of cool about that when he goes, the Judge Dredd, that's also hinting about how in the comics, this Judge Dredd is a clone of Dredd. So really? That's what I like about this movie. If you know the lore enough, I only know this because I watched the summary. I haven't read the comics yet. I want to. They did so much with so little that they put like all these small blink and you miss references to the overall lore. And that way, comic book fans know it, but people that don't necessarily read the Judge comics like me, they're like, okay, he's just saying the Judge Dredd like he's a legend. No, he also really means you're kind of a clone.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that was really good. He also took down the corrupt
judges. I love at the end where she says, "Looks like you've been through it. Drug bust. Kirks were uncooperative."
That's the other thing I like about this. You know what's kind of funny? He's like Batman. Dude, this is Batman if he were a cop.
No, that is like a James Bond line if there ever was one. But yeah. So like you realize this is literally just another day on the job for him.
You know, it's kind of funny, Nick. Before I went live with this, I was thinking, how great would it be if there was a crossover between Ben Affleck's Batman and Judge Dredd? Particularly the pre-BVS Ben Affleck's Batman, where he's murdering people.
I just want to say,
Dude.
Billy the Butcher and this version of Dredd meet. I think they would respect each other. Like, I think they would actually respect each other.
Yeah. Here's what they could do. I can imagine he's fighting. Butcher's fighting Homelander, and then Dredd raises his gun. Butcher goes, that won't work. He's invincible. Judge Dredd fires like High X or like Hot Shot, and it just kills Homelander by eating from the inside out. And he goes, not from the inside. He's not.
Oh my god! Like, imagine there's like an Avengers team just of Karl Urban characters.
him and like Lord of the Rings, Jason Bourne. This. What else has he been in? Thor Ragnarok. He's Gore. He's the executioner from
Behold
Thor.
my stuff.
He's got Des and Stroy, the two M16s.
And he got them from the great realm of Texas. Like, how did that line get past the Disney censors? Like,
I have no idea. And he's using guns positively. Isn't that interesting?
Also, Doom Guy.
Oh, yeah. But you know, it's kind of funny. I saw this great meme. This is kind of off topic, but I'll say this. This was Star Wars meme. It's like, no one blamed the lightsaber when Anakin Skywalker murdered the younglings.
Okay, this is a bit of a tangent, but like, you do realize there's in Thor Ragnarok, that scene where he's using the guns and he's pointing down, that is a Doom reference.
Yeah.
It's referencing the cover of Doom. It's a double reference.
Where he's like on the pile of bodies and he's shooting down. Yep.
Like, that is literally, like, not only is it referencing the cover of Doom, he was the Doom guy. It's a double reference. I'm sorry, I had to point that out.
By the way, yeah, exactly. And Tavia brings up Comics League. Fun fact, we did get a Judge Dredd Batman crossover, which I did read, and Karl Urban voice and Kevin Conroy Batman. Wait, they did they voiced over the comic? That is badass. We need to find that. Cool. We need to find that. There have been multiple, but I want Ben Affleck's one because Ben Affleck kills people in the universe, and I would love that. That'd be
Karl
so
Urban
good.
and Ben Affleck's characters.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the best comic book films of the 2010s. Certainly better than an AMCU movie.
Yeah.
I would say so. And the thing is like it sticks really close to how the character is to the point where I'm like, wow. Well, whoever did this was a fan of Judge Dredd. Like, in a universe where we get so little accurate comic book movies, well done, sir. You get an A+ in my book.
If I may make a recommendation, on YouTube there is a fan film called Judge Minty, which is about an older judge who takes a long walk, and he kind of fights some like street gang people. It is really good. Judge Dredd kind of makes an appearance for like one scene, but it's really good.
Yeah, I'll check that out. So Tavia says, technically he didn't read the comic, but I read it with the... Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So basically, it was kind of funny. Karl Urban is basically the Judge Dredd version of Kevin Conroy. He is that character. And you notice Dredd doesn't make any jokes or anything like... Well, he does, but it's in that signature dry humor that really only Karl Urban can do.
Yeah.
He has the proper grimace. I also love the scene where that one, where like all the corrupt judges are going after Dredd, but the one female one goes after Anderson, and she doesn't know Anderson is psychic, so she shows up and goes, "Wait, I'm your backup." And Anderson reads her mind and goes, "Boom."
Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah, exactly. I love the failsafe if any unauthorized person tries to use the gun in the...
Yeah, I mean, that's part of lore.
Yeah, in the Sylvester Stallone movie, I believe I've heard that like it's a taser thing. In this, it just blows off their freaking arm. I just love that. It's so hard, and I like where... And to that point, I like when earlier in the movie they're about to breach the door, and then Dredd goes, "You ready?" Yeah. You don't look ready. So it's kind of showing how she's being hardened by this experience. At the end, you ready? Yeah. You look ready.
Yeah, it's a nice capstone. I mean, it's a bit on the nose, but honestly, by the time he says it, it feels earned. It feels earned. It is like I said, it is on the nose, but I don't care. It just feels so good.
It's one of those on the nose things where I'm like, I'll allow it because it's so badass. Tevia says, Comics League, like, it would make me so happy to see Karl Urban's Judge Dredd fight Judge Death, who's technically his arch nemesis.
No. I know that's like the big discourse, but Death is such a out there character, not to mention high budget.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would fit in the Karl Urban iteration. Definitely not the not at least not for another two or three more films.
Dave says the producer of this movie is a big comic book fan. He also did the Punisher Dirty Laundry fan film with Thomas Jane and a Venom fan film years before Tom Hardy's. Both were well received by fans. I gotta check those out. Wow.
Have you you've never seen Dirty Laundry?
Nope.
It actually has the Thomas Jane actor in it.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
Also, Ron Perlman makes an appearance.
Really? That is cool. So, Nick, you're the one. So, before we went live, you told me you have a lot of trivia for this. So, why don't you regale us with some trivia?
So, one of the ways they got funding is during the time they did this, 3D was a big thing, and so this film was actually made with 3D in mind. That's why they have the slow-mo sequences, is they were made to look really good in 3D.
Oh yeah, and yeah, that definitely works in that sense. I really enjoyed that. What else you got?
Yeah. I'm trying to think here. So Judge Anderson is a character in the comics, and she's a psychic.
I also love the main villain, Mama. She's a really a messed up character. Yep, she
plays by Cersei Lannister.
Or Queen Above from 300.
I mean, she does get Spartan kicked off the roof, so.
I know. It's so good. I'm like, it's kind of funny. I imagine if in our time warp world, as she falls back, she's like, oh, this is what that Persian messenger felt.
By the way, there's something you need to do.
What?
When you need to make an edit of that clip, that when he tosses her off, you put in, "This is Sparta."
That would be great. Yeah, I should do that. That'd be fun. She's in okay, Mama's in that crossover too. Okay. I wish I could have seen this in 3D. Yeah, it seems it seems like a movie that would be good in 3D.
Yeah, for sure. It's very smart. I mean, it did get a lot of comparisons to The Raid.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that, but but the other problem is The Raid is a simple concept, building, going up the building. It kind of seems like a very basic story structure kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah,
I was about to say, it's but any movie where there's a dude with guns going clearing a building is The Raid. Then, so what are you doing? It's kind of interesting on that. The other thing that I really like is when Mama brings out the 3 miniguns and just mows down that entire district, and then I like how Dredd and Anderson end up on the skate park that's on the side of a building, but there's no railing. That is the most dangerous skate park of all time.
Also, I don't know if you noticed this, but the guy who is doing all the computer stuff.
Yeah, it's Hux.
Yeah.
it's like he's so with this. Well, what we learn is
we go.
So he went through. So it wasn't really a time portal. It's just after he got thrown the iso cubes, but the iso cubes actually froze him, and he was in carbonite freezing until the Star Wars times, and he was picked up by Kylo Ren.
Oh God!
And he was thawed out, and then they gave him cybernetic fake eyes, like in Avengers: Infinity War.
Oh God!
Dave says The Raid was not the first raid/siege movie either. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid discourse. I'm not really. I wish people would stop trying to do that kind of comparison.
It's essentially like fans like to believe that their favorite movie did all this stuff new, but I'm like, no, it didn't. No,
wait, Jared, didn't you know that nothing ever happened before 2015?
Didn't you know that that Katniss Everdeen was the first female action movie star?
And didn't you know that every movie has the first. Every Disney movie has the first gay character. Every Disney movie has the first gay character ever.
Or that Captain Marvel was the first female superhero movie. Yeah, exactly. Everyone likes to say, oh, this was so revolutionary. Was this? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That's the funny part there. And plus Dredd was filmed first before
I'm not
the raid.
sure about that. I'm not sure about the timeline, but I'll take your word for it.
The raid. Hang on, I'm gonna look that up right now. The raid 1. So raid came out.
While you're doing that, can you highlight Dave's comment?
Yeah, okay. This is what the new Blade movie should be. Blade just fighting vampires through a skyscraper or a giant castle in Eastern Europe to rescue trafficked kids or something like that. Give the people what they want.
Yeah, like it's not that hard to make a Blade movie. Like, why the frick are they on like their 5th set of writers and directors for this movie? I swear we're quickly coming to a point with that movie where Mahershala is going to walk and that project is going to fall apart.
Fun fact, the Ben Affleck Batman movie was going to be basically the raid of him fighting through Arkham Asylum, and every Batman villain was going to show up, and he was going to work his way to the top where he would fight Deathstroke. And I'm like,
so basically, Ben, you need to create a plot, and then someone hands him a copy of Arkham Asylum. Like,
yeah, essentially it's that. They could have just titled that Batman Arkham Asylum as a movie, and then there you go. Except instead of Joker, it's Deathstroke, which hey, that works. You don't have to use Joker for that. It's the same concept. It was so you're telling me that then technically the raid ripped off Arkham Asylum.
Oh god!
If we're going off of that logic. Why couldn't we get that movie? Because Warner Brothers are freaking morons. That's why. That is why. But
yeah,
anyway.
They've been trying to get a new Judge Dredd thing going off. Last I heard, they were supposed to be doing this TV series called Mega City 1.
That'd be cool.
Karl Urban was supposed to return. I think more of a cameo kind of thing. But I
know he wants to come back as Dredd.
Yeah, he can still do it.
Yeah, it's not like he's doing a lot of jumping off a jumping stunts. It's just him going through boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and I'm sure Olivia Thornberry would love the paycheck too.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing that I really like about this movie, so Judge is super by the book. Dredd is super by the book, the entire movie. Now, what I like is, so Anderson fails her assessment in this because one of the conditions of failure is that if the enemy gains control of your firearm. So that happens. The dude's arm blows up like a badass. I also like in the movie where she's like, I know I failed. Let's just survive through this, and then we'll deal with that. Then the chief judge asked Dredd, did she pass or fail? Pass.
What I think is,
yeah.
I think that was the moment she passed. Like, when you couple that with her general performance throughout the whole thing, like, yeah, she lost a weapon, but she kept her cool, all that stuff. Like that probably says a lot, like how she performed. But like, I think it was that moment. Because Judge Dredd at his core is a decent guy. But I think it was that moment where she passed.
Yeah, where she also handed in her badge. She was like, I'm done. And then she walked away. She's like, no, you're good. You passed. It's kind of showing maybe Judge is starting to learn that like it's a little more complicated because, yeah, you could try and say it's a rule that we don't let the perps get our guns. Crap happens, dude.
It's just my thing is, like, I don't know. It just seems like after that scene, she just kind of has like this look in her eyes, like he's all business, like she's in the zone, she's got that mentality, and also, I don't think Judge would say you look ready if he wasn't going to pass her. Like I think he respected her to a kind of thing.
Yeah, like, at that point, he was like,
beginning, but
I like to say at that moment, but personally for me, at that moment when he says you look ready, that's when he said I'm passing her. Inwardly, yeah. Because like, nope, she gets it. She is a judge.
Yeah,
I really dug that. Hey, what's up, Galen? How you doing, my brother? And
nice.
Yeah, so and that's really cool. It even shows that she kind of maybe taught him a lesson, because it's like, yeah, you could be all protocol and like rules and stuff, but eventually that gets thrown out the window. And no plan ever survives first contact with
No
the
battle
enemy.
plan. Even the best made plans of mice and men often go astray.
Yeah, Darwin's law is gonna. I mean, is it Darwin or no?
Murphy.
Murphy's law is gonna happen at some point. So you gotta.
By the way, Murphy's law is if it can go wrong, it will.
Yeah, and that's what happened. And plus, having Anderson be a mutant and judge in this world is very rare, because in the Judge Dredd, mutants are looked down upon. Interesting, yeah. And
like not all the thing is, they also say like mutants are all squiggly and ugly. Not every mutant looks like Olivia Thirlby. So
damn it. But I will say though, the other thing
you
is
can
like,
Olivia Thirlby. You can Olivia Thirlby.
we're all Olivia Thirlbys. But
you all get clones.
Yeah, the cool part about this, I liked how so basically it's just saying, yeah, but you're a walking polygraph. So why wouldn't I want you by my more mind reading mutants, if you will? Judge Dredd versus Failsafe, who wins? Failsafe is a robot that basically has the Justice League's powers. I'm giving it to Failsafe. Anyway, go on, Nick.
Yeah. He doesn't respect it at first, but he definitely learns to, I would say.
It's like, I like to think it started when like she goes, sir, he's thinking about going for your gun. He turns, he's thinking about not going for your gun. Interesting. I love where she mind reads the perp's mind, and like they go through that whole mental battle, and then he pees himself, and then eventually Olivia Thirlby's like, okay, so it's like this. Here's the distribution, and then eventually Dredd's like, interesting.
Yeah, the other thing is, like that scumbag guy. I like that he eventually kind of like developed techniques on his own to combat her. Like, I mean, he still loses, but the fact that he kind of makes her like struggle for a little bit, I thought that was actually kind of cool.
I also love where he's like, can you tell what I'm thinking? Yeah, can you tell what I'm thinking now? And then it's like, you don't see what he's thinking. All you see is Olivia Thirlby's like reaction, and then she just hits him over the head. I love that. That's really cool. And and again, see, the thing I like about this movie, where this movie shines, is the fact that it's a simple plot in one location, relatively, and they do what they can with like a smaller budget, and they pick their battles and they do it well. That's why this movie holds up so well.
Yeah.
And Tevye says, like I would really love a Judge Dredd video game with both Karl. Can you imagine if they made a Judge Dredd GTA game, but you are the judges?
I mean, I'm sure there's like a Judge Dredd.
There's definitely a mod. You can't tell me there's not a mod. There's mods we can play as the cops in GTA. I'm sure there's a mod we can play as Judge Dredd. If you can play as Superman in GTA, I'm pretty sure you can play as Judge Dredd with all the different ammo types.
Yeah, for sure.
I also like how the gun has a built-in suppressor that like can go suppressed. I refuse to say silence because that's not what the term is. Sorry, that really annoys. That really annoys me when they say silencer. I'm like, that's not what the attachment does.
You must really hate watching No Country for Old Men.
I really hate it when they say like, I mean, Call of Duty recently went to, instead of saying silence, say suppressed, but it's like in any action movie they'll say silencer, or like when a silencer is fired and it's like. That's not what it's.
But Jared, why do they need silencers? You can just put the gun against a pillow. That does the same thing.
That doesn't work. What actually kind of works for one shot is if you put a water bottle on the gun. Now, for those of you that don't know, I've been
near. Hydrate your gun.
Yeah, exactly. I've been near a suppressed firearm. You still need ear protection when it fires. I'm sorry, it's not that quiet. I mean, it's not like in John Wick when they're walking through the subway tunnel and they're like, no, that doesn't work.
Like, see, correct me if I'm wrong, Jared, but all a suppressor does is it suppresses the velocity. Like, sure, it's not as loud. It is not as loud.
It quiets it a little bit, but it does not silence it. That's why it's called a suppressor and not a silencer. You're I believe the way it works is that you're suppressing the gas explosion at the on the muzzle of the gun, so it's not as loud. Right. Yeah.
Where's Brandon Herrera when you need him?
Yeah, exactly. Brandon, if you want to come on the show, we'd love to have you, dude.
Oh my God, that would be such a great, you
can shoot the AK-50. Yeah, I'm sure he is. Like, nothing would make happen in a Dredd sequel. I would love that. I mean, like, this way, if they do a procedural cop show, but it's Dredd, that would be dope. Can you imagine as Dredd SVU? Or it's like
Law and Order. No, Law and Order. Judges.
Oh yeah, or Hawaii 5-0, but it's Judge Dredd, and they do the same.
No. Even better. You have Karl Urban. He's still in his helmet and he's grimacing, but he's wearing a Hawaiian short, khakis, and flip flops, and he's still wearing the helmet. That's what he wears on vacation. It's like that's what he's like. I never take the helmet off. You never know when a sniper shot's gonna ring out. And I'm like, you're on vacation. And then he meets a lady. And it's like, so you're gonna take the helmet off? Helmet stays on during blah blah blah. The helmet stays on. It's better this way. He's like, I read that in the comic book once. And then right as he says this after he just he just incendiaried someone, so they're burning as he's having sex with Black Canary. Oh God, that'd be so good. I almost don't trust them to do it right these days. That is true. If they did it nowadays, because Hollywood's too lazy. If the Halo show is any indicator, they would have him taking off his helmet on. They would have him with the helmet on and off all the time. No. So so it's Invincible. It's Billy the Butcher. It's like, you can't defeat me, Billy. I know. That's why I brought in help. And then all of a sudden, you see a Doctor Strange portal open, and Judge Dredd walks in. Judge Dredd goes, on your left. and then like every Karl Urban character shows up. It's the Urban verse. Yes, that's the term now. It's the Urban verse. Oh, and then all of a sudden, the Rohirrim arrive and you hear dun 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 dun, and I'm like, yes, that music. Not awesome. Alone. No girl complain. Yeah, exactly. Rohirrim. No girl would complain. Yeah, exactly. Well, like Hollywood seriously should give this movie a sequel. Yeah, and you don't need that big of a budget. Judge Dredd versus Homelander would be dope. Unless he gets around in Homelander's mouth, that's not going to end well for Judge Dredd. Yeah. Hollywood as a whole has become a joke. Yeah, kind of. So that's why if anyone's like, I want a sequel to this, are you sure you want it now? I mean, I want it, yes, but are you sure you want it now? I will say, though, and this is my obligatory reference to this man, imagine a Zack Snyder directed Judge Dredd movie. It's got I actually think you would do. I mean, this is like one movie that is like tailor made for him. And like you said, it's slow motion. There you go. And no one would complain about him being edgy and bloody because that's Judge Dredd. Yeah. That would be. Have there been any Dredd references in The Boys? I don't watch that show. If they are, I miss them. Yeah. So Nick, possibly. Let's talk about this. So there's a scene in this, and this shows how much of a better movie this is. So they do a scene in the Stallone movie and in this movie. It's the same line, but it's done better. Yeah. So let me set the scene. Yeah. Go ahead for the Karl Urban clip. So all throughout the movie, we hadn't really seen many like Judge Dredd like callbacks or references, and he basically gets on the megaphone and he's talking to the entirety of Petrie's, and he says, "Mama is not the law. Mama is not the law. I am the law." Jared, you timed that perfectly. I knew it. And he says one more time. He's like, "And Mama, judgment time." Yes. I love that. The only way it could have been better is if he would have said it's Morbin time. Yeah, I was about to say it's Morbin time. Oh God, that would be so good. Someone should clip that, mute it, and then go, it's Morbin time. All right. And now, so here's one of the scenes where he says that in the Stallone movie.
Why did you judge me?
You killed innocent people.
The means to an end.
You started a massacre.
I caused the revolution.
You betrayed the law.
Law!
Oh my god, there's such like a funny remix where it's like you trade the law.
It's like they've taken the hobbits to Isengard. But
you know, during the filming of The Hobbit, they
yeah,
actually got like Orlando Bloom to react to it. It's so gold.
and he actually did it too. And it's like in the also earlier in the other movie, they went, "I am the law," and I'm like, you put too much of an emphasis on it when you just have Karl Urban say,
I am the law.
and I'm like, yeah, that's way better. That is way better. And that shows, I mean, in the 90s, they weren't exactly going for comic accurate comic book movies like Batman and Robin. I'm like, no. But like with this, now see, this came out the right time when studio executives here's the good part about this. This is at a time when studio executives didn't take comic book movies seriously. So they would be like, yeah, do whatever you want with this. And then we get this. Because if this came out now, I think you would have a lot more studio interference. God, this Stallone movie is super cheesy. Yeah. Didn't that Stallone movie bomb badly? I think it did.
I think it did, yeah.
Hang on, I'll look it up. Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah, check your DMs.
All right, let's see. Yeah. I'll watch that later.
Yeah,
okay.
you might get copyright thing for that.
So the budget was 90 million for the original, and the box office was $113.5 million. So it made its production budget back, but I don't think that includes marketing.
Yeah.
So that's why. And then when we go to Dredd, I'm going to look up the...
I think that one was saved by home media.
Yeah. Yeah. The budget was only $45 million?
Yeah,
wow.
Like I said, it was pretty low budget. And that's 45 in like 2010 dollars, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it made $41.5 million.
The one thing I'll say for the Stallone movie is it's actually pretty accurate to the world. Like, they actually did a really good job portraying the world of Judge Dredd. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, he went on the long walk and whatnot. Like, there is stuff to praise in the Stallone version, you know.
All right. Yeah, in any movie, there's stuff to praise. But in terms of accuracy, it's this one. It's this one above it. So, Nick, let me ask you this. How would you rate this movie out of 10?
10. I'm trying to think of the right word. Like, 10 Judge Dredd actually keeping his helmets on out of 10.
I rate this as 10 Master Chief helmets out of 10.
Oh, God.
I would have said 15, but unfortunately, Jennifer Hale was not in this movie in any way. So I'm like, I can't.
Oh my God! Imagine if she was.
Imagine if she was every judge, like it was all clothes. I would get into 100 out of 10 at this point.
Imagine if she played Mama.
I could see that. Mama's busy.
I think if she played Mama, this would probably be the first 100 out of 10 movie.
Yeah, it would be, because I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's good. 10 out of 10. Yeah, it's a perfect Judge Dredd movie. It as a comic book adaptation of any comic book, 10 out of 10. It's straight up that. You know, because again, what it does, it takes this massive world, condenses it in a way where they have small throwaway references, but they do it in a way where anyone can like take that as just a line from a movie. Or comic book fans can go, oh, they reference it being a clone. Watch Hardware. It was a Judge Dredd spinoff movie before the Stallone movie. Oh, we'll check that out. So I think that's a good place to leave it. So the way movie night's going to work is that next movie night, we're going to be talking about Justice League versus the Fatal Five. So Nick and I will be completing our JLU watch along. And then for Justice League Rewatch, the last episode, we'll be doing epilogue. So, in other words, this coming week is going to be the end of Justice League Rewatch, and we're going to be transitioning to Superman Rewatch. So, we're going to be covering S-Task. That'll be fun. In terms of Super Wonder Legacy, Britt and I are going to be releasing on tomorrow our rant about toxic fandom, and then the next episode is going to be a live stream where we just do a general Q&A where you can ask us any question you want. And in terms of Under Two Capes, I'm still thinking about same thing for my commentary. But Nick, where can we find you and what we got coming on your channel?
I have a question for you. Okay. Yeah. What would you do if Judge Dredd got transported to a universe where Wonder Bat existed? How would he react?
He would immediately shoot whoever caused Wonder Bat to happen.
So he would shoot Tom King.
No, for one thing, he would throw Bruce Timm in the ISO cube for the whole Batman Batgirl thing.
I'm just setting you up, brother. I'm setting you up for jokes.
And then he would take Tom King and go, eating rats is stupid, and throw him in the ISO cube.
What would he do if he met Brian Michael Bendis?
He'd go, write a better Superman comic.
I think if he actually met Superman, especially the Henry Cavill version, he would respect, like Judge Dredd would respect him.
He goes, you do tight efficient. It'd be like when Batman met Green Lantern, the Flash in Justice League War, where he goes, you do tight efficient work. But so where can we find you and what have you got coming on your channel, dude?
I think if he actually met Batman, he'd like laugh at the suit. But once he actually worked with him, it's like, you may dress funny.
Yeah.
But you do good work.
And he goes, can I have a Batmobile?
I'll call it the Dreadmobile.
Yes, exactly. So, Nick, where can we
find you? The Mobile Dread.
Yeah, you go. Where can we find you, and what have you got coming on your channel, dude?
All right, Twitter, YouTube, the Phoenix Press. Tonight at 9, I'll be doing a live stream on my channel, talking about the first season of House of Dragon, getting everything ready.
Lena Headey.
Kind of, yeah. But we're talking about the first season of House of Dragon, get everything ready for premiere next week. We're gonna be doing weekly live streams for that. Before we go, I want to can you highlight Randy's comment, please? This is off topic, but we're at the end of the stream, so
a bit off top. Yes, it looks awesome.
Yeah, same as a Power Ranger fan. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, almost all the stuff at Summer Games Fest, I was like, nah. But that actually, I'm legit excited for. Like,
I'm going to say one thing. And by the way, they also announced a new Doom game, which I'm excited for. But anyway, so here's what happened.
I need to check out that trailer.
It popped up on my Twitter notification during the Friday Night Frenzy. And I was like, what's this? And then I see a little bit of the trailer and I DM it to Nick. And then here's his reaction, right? He's like, I need to do this. I thought that you were upset. So I was like, did I just piss Nick off live on show? In which case, the thumbs up for me. But then he goes, I need to show this because this looks awesome. And I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Was my camera turned on during that whole thing? Like,
I don't think so.
Oh, God. Because if it was, it'd be a good clip. Somebody clip that, It
could still be good. Off top, we're also getting a new Gears game. Yes, I'm so excited for that. It's E-Day.
Yeah, that's more Jared's thing. But that Power Ranger game I'm actually legit excited for.
If it's crossplay, we'll all be doing it. And then Dave says, I want a sequel to Shredder's Revenge, but that's just as good.
Oh, but here's the thing. It's being made by Digital Clips, same people who made Shredder's Revenge. And it's very clearly being made with the Shredder's Revenge engine. And Digital Clips has proven themselves to be very dedicated to like all the little details and whatnot. So I have faith in this Power Ranger game. I am legit excited because we have not gotten good Power Ranger games since the Super Nintendo days.
I mean, there was basically an Injustice style fighting game for Shattered Grid. I like that one.
Yeah, that was popular for about a minute. I will say, if I can manage it, I will try to have a live stream between all my friends where we go through the game. Dibs on Blue Ranger.
Okay, I never will want dibs on either Tommy or the Red Ranger. So there you go.
But I will be streaming that game. I mean, come on. It's
if it's crossplay, I'm down. Again, I would play as the Red Ranger or Tommy, depending on who's available. We'll see. I think Tommy is one of the playable characters, hopefully. And
if I can manage it, like I'm not sure how involved he is with the game. I need to ask him. But I might.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm going to try to get Ron Wasserman onto the stream to kind of talk about while we're doing this. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm going to ask him because you all know I'm friends with him. So if possible, I'm going to ask him.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be really fun. And then when we play the game, I'll be making a lot of Morbin time jokes, so be on the lookout for that. But anyway, stay at work, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs to General Zod. Zois and Maxibat for life.
Law is not the law. I am the law.